So I just got back from seeing Hellboy. I was going to attempt to do this video review in my car, but camera's battery was dead. Couldn't save it. So I'm doing this review here. Movie's a mess. It's a real mess of a movie, and damn shame, because David Harbour as Hellboy was pretty good. He was pretty good. So was the girl who played Alice. Never saw her before, but she was pretty good too. Uh, I mean, her and Hellboy have one of the few moments where the movie actually breathes and you get a sense of her character, and she's a pretty good character. Uh, Never was a fan of her in the comics, but she was an interesting character in the movie, nonetheless. Then there's Daniel Day Kim's character. He was another character from the comics, but he was interesting, an interesting choice to choose for this movie. I could see why, given you used Abe, you used Roger, you wouldn't get the why they were going for Daniel Day Kim's character. Daniel, was that it? Daniel? No, that's the curse that he had. But this movie's a mess, a bad mess, and I'm glad I saw this at the theater that has the booze, because yeah. To start off, this movie is a jumbled mess. It takes four Hellboy stories and just puts it in a blender and sees what it can get out of this, and you get this movie. Mila Jovovich is there. I mean, the only two times I enjoyed her character was the beginning in the flashback where we see what her character basically does and gets betrayed and sealed away, and the scene where she's basically catching up. That was the best moments of her character, and I still don't understand what the hell her point was in this movie. And what happened to her crown too? Because she had her crown at a certain point in the film and basically disappears. Yeah, but her character motivation is very interesting, to say the least. And I say interesting, I mean it's garbage. I mean, okay, bring back the end of the world. Okay, yeah, but okay, I hate Hellboy. Okay, I'll kill him, but I also want him to swim to my side. But I want to kill him too. But I'm gonna keep trying to swing to my side, and it doesn't work in this movie. It doesn't really work, and her character's finale in this movie, you're like, that's it. That's all we're gonna get with her. I mean, to be fair, I only thought of this portion when all I could think when I was watching the movie was like, oh, this is, oh, this is an actual motion picture CGI that they approved this. This was the final thing they approved. Yeah, the biggest problem this movie has is its CGI. Uh, the CGI is a joke. It's like an early 90s movie that started using CGI. And if you think of that, you know how Mortal Kombat is? If I want to just ironically put a suggestion towards, because we'll be seeing that again next week or or so, 2 weeks. But basically, you remember Reptile in that movie? How badly aged he got once the movie CGI got better. That's this movie basically. There's a lot of Reptile in this movie, everywhere. And the fact is, the CGI just does not work. I mean, I enjoyed for what they try to do with it, but it is bad, really bad. Like the only thing worse than the CGI in this movie is the score, because I mean, at least the CGI they're attempting to do something here with the mood and the special effects, but the score for this movie is bad. Like it is so loud and obnoxious. The score. There are parts of the movie where it's so loud you can't understand what the characters are saying, and I'm just like, what are they saying? I can't understand what they're saying because the freaking score is so freaking loud. And I first thought like maybe it's the theater itself, like the audio is just out of whack. But no, this is the movie. This is actually the movie that's doing this. And oh yeah, and that score is just nasty. Another thing that's just a slight against the movie is that you have Ian McShane, great actor, but you waste him. I mean, you do the one thing Ian McShane does best, and that's swear like a motherfucker, and he does do that in this movie. But all he does is spout exposition, and you don't really see anything from him in this movie other than exposition and swearing. You don't really get a relationship between his character Professor Broom in this movie compared to like the original with Benicio del Toro's one with John Hurt and John Perlman. Like, there you can sense a connection. This one, you don't really sense that. They try to set that up in one scene at the beginning of the movie, and it just feels off, like really off. And worse is that this movie tried to set up Broom as this badass monster hunter, and you don't really see that. And even more, it also sets up that Broom basically aged, like hasn't aged since the 1940s, and that basically Broom is lived his life to protect the world for the moment the apocalypse comes, which is Hellboy, of course. Spoilers. Wow. Oops. But it feels wasted that little side plot to do so. I just this movie was a disappointment, an utterly disappointing movie. And the funny thing is, they got the leads right, the first three leads, but everything else around it is a mess, an awful, awful mess. You see, they were trying something here, but it felt like they were doing two movies in here, and additionally, like threw them like, oh, we gotta do the origin story too. Let's throw that in there too. But they do it a different way. I mean, they do it a way it's like the comics, but it's not like the comics. And they throw in a fan service moment, which is pure fan service for anybody who likes Hellboy for that. But you're like, okay, new viewer is gonna question, who the fuck is this? What's going on? Oh, hey, it's the guy from the Benicio del Toro movie. What happened to his character? He just disappeared. I guess he survived. Oh, wow, they shed over that character from the original movie. Yeah. This movie's a mess. It is, as I posted to a friend tonight, hot shit. It's so. I just can't believe they fucked this up this bad. I mean, this is a disgrace, really. The fact that the creator of this movie, the series, basically is like saying, "Oh yeah, this is a good read. This is the way I envisioned it." not a good way to envision it. It's, I can't believe how disappointing this was. And then again, maybe I should have been prepared, given how the whole Hellboy saga is wrapping up right now, and it's been a disappointing end actually. Like I was hyped up so much for it, and then basically it just faltered like a whimper instead of a, holy shit, this is awesome. This wasn't awesome. The way the comics ending right now, it's not awesome. This movie is not awesome. This is a mess. It's a very bad mess. I still haven't talked about another thing in this movie. The other villainous movies, Pig, Hog Man. They give an explanation of basically why he wants to resurrect the queen, but restore his power. But it's such a shitty motive, really. I mean, and the way the character looks, there's just no life to this character. It just looks like a CGI creation. It just looks off. And plus, he has these powers that suddenly you're like, oh yes, I forgot I could do this. I'm like, wait, what? What? But well, what's the point of keeping this guy alive then? If you can do that, you gave the thing. Why'd you just like do that before? I haven't even talked about the other thing about this movie. It's like this movie has two characters who show up at the beginning of the film and show up in the middle, and that's it. You don't really get anything else with them. They basically disappear from the film after that. There are two scenes with them. The first character is Baba Yaga, ironically enough. Uh, I kept on thinking, wait, Baba Yaga, it's John fucking Wick. It's John fucking Wick. But no, it's not John Wick. It's literally Baba Yaga, and it was a decent character. I think I'll give him that. This witch who eats children, but her character motivation was like, okay, I'm doing this for that, but then it's like, I'm really doing it for this, but then basically she doesn't show up for the remainder of the end of the film. She just disappears. Like you're wondering, wait, aren't they gonna pick up that plot flood again? I mean, that's not really a way to end this subplot with her, but okay. But it's not as bad as the other character in this movie. There's another character who shows up in the earlier before the whole like in the flashback, and then she shows up randomly at the end of the middle of the movie, and basically Mila Jovovich's character is basically like, "You betrayed me, but you get to watch. You'll watch." But she doesn't. She just disappears. You never see her character again after basically she tells Hellboy to take to the one person who can defeat Mila Jovovich's character, and you're like, wait, where's she at? She was supposed to be here to watch. Where's she at? Did Hellboy kill her? What happened? What's going on? Yeah, I mean, they just completely dropped this character. I mean, it was like, what was the point of bringing her back if we're not going to use her again, other than basically sprout exposition again and lead you to the where the final act of the climax happens? It's like, what's the point? And that's really it is. Like, what is the point of this movie? I mean, it's a mess. A horrific mess of a movie that really makes you want to see a better movie, which was the original movie of Benicio del Toro. But this movie tried, but it's like all they got right was the makeup on Hellboy, David Harbour playing Hellboy, they him as one of his sidekicks, and the girl who played Alice. Everything else, shit. And that's another thing about this movie, is that it's all exposition. These characters don't get the chance to breathe and let them be themselves, except for one scene with Hellboy and Alice talking, and one scene with Alice talking to Daniel Day Kim's character, about why he hates monsters, and we see his flashback. And it's only time we see these characters breathe and talk to, like, honestly talk, not looking for exposition or spouting exposition. That's what the rest of the movie is. Just exposition of the movie before getting the next beat to the next beat to the next beat to the next beat. So yeah, Hellboy. It's a hell of disappointment.